Namaskar, I am Vimal Baklu, former chairman and managing director of TCIL, a Government of India enterprise. I welcome you all to today's event of Public Police NGO. We at Public Police NGO have started a webinar series on topics which are of immediate concern to the general public. On 4th January 2021, we started a webinar on how safe and secure are our deposits in our banks. This was followed by how feasible is it to have CCTVs in our police stations and also effective implementation of human rights in India.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Welcome, sir.
We have received a request from some of the viewers that they would like to know more about Public Police NGO. We are in the process of making a promotional video on the same. So we'll play it later. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to announce that our chairman, Justice Balakrishnan, former Chief Justice of India, has joined us. And I would request him to give his opening remarks. Thanks. Yes, sir.
Distinguished panelists and viewers, dear friends. Today, we have got a special program by the public police. That is to create a situation where the people can avail the benefit of the technology and the benefit of the medical system. The telemedicine, most of the people affected by this virus is not able to approach the doctor, not able to approach the hospital, not able to get a fair, good treatment to their satisfaction. So to minimize that situation, they must get the best medical facility. Otherwise, many of our very, very close friends and relatives are suffering, seriously suffering. And to my knowledge, some of them have departed and they reached the heavenly abode. So it is a very sad situation. The country is facing very, very critical situation. We have to do our best and we have to do all people who are the experts in this field should help our citizens, our fellow citizens, so that they will get the panelists are very eminent persons. They are conversant. I'm not a medical professionalist. I'm not a very able technologist. So they are both technologists and know how to operate this system and to get the medical facilities. Public police is an NGO working for the benefit of the people to enforce their valuable rights, to lead a dutiful citizen of this country. That is what the public police wants. Our people are suffering from various problems. As a citizen, we have to, especially in this pandemic situation, the lack of the basic things, the lack of amenities, lack of making use of the best facilities in this country, all they are deprived of these things. So to avoid this situation, we have to see that they get the best thing out of it. So as a dutiful citizen of this country, it is our duty to see that our fellow citizens get the best out of it. In the lockdown period, we are not able to enforce our rights. We are not though we have got duties to our parents, duty to our brother, duty to the medical members, the medical profession, but we are not able to discharge our duties, even the basic duties. We are not able to discharge the basic duties to the best of our satisfaction. That is, when our parents or our close relatives are suffering, we are not able to go near them and ask them to do the various things which because of the lockdown and the situation which is prevailing in this country. So to make the best out of it, we are all with the administrators. We are not against any system. We are not against any people. We are helping. Some of the members of the public police are very eminent persons. They were working in as a great holding high post in the society in the bureaucratic system. They have retired and they thought of giving their service to the country. And this is an occasion. This is one such occasion. Trying to boost of the system, we have to confidence for the people of this country. People are suffering. We are not able to move out. They are not freely able to do whatever they want to do. They want like so. Because of that, there is a loss of confidence in the citizens when they are closed down for a long time in the quarantine, or they are not able to meet the fellow citizens. Naturally, mentally they are disturbed. So we have to give them confidence, give them help, and that is what we are thinking of doing. That is what the public police is trying to do. And our my colleagues they are all eminent, very eminent persons. They will explain to you how the system works. Thank you very much. And with these words, formally, we will start the program.
Thank you for your wise words, sir. And it's our pleasure that Yogi Raj Om Prakash Ji Maharaj also has joined us. And now, since a lot of our members in Public Police NGO are new to telemedicine, so we'll be doing a brief presentation on the telemedicine itself. So we'll start with some of the challenges we have faced in the health sector. We are aware that in India, we have 1.35 billion people and 70% of the population lives in villages, and there are 6.5 lakh villages. And the total number of doctors in the country is about 2.5 lakhs. So it is a major challenge. There are other challenges also like mother and child care, prenatal and postnatal problems, tracking and tracing patients, chronic patients, people with physical challenge, people with special needs like epilepsy, maintenance of citizens' health records, and CME. So the immediate challenge that we are faced with is the COVID-19 pandemic, which has struck us very hard. There is shortage of healthcare professionals, shortage of hospital beds, shortage of ventilators, oxygen, critical medicines. Now, the positive fallout of the pandemic has been, last year, the Government of India approved the telemedicine guidelines in allopathy, Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy, and everything. So this is how the pandemic also put us in the domain of telemedicine. So telemedicine, as just to give a definition of this, it's a delivery of the health services leveraging information and communication technologies for diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease, injuries, research, evaluation, and continued medical education. That's the definition of the WHO. And now telemedicine is more like a past, say phrase. Now we more talk about digital health because that is the new term wherein all computing platforms, connectivity, software, sensors for health and health related issues are being used, and for general wellness of in terms of using medical devices, drugs and biologies, etc. Now, when it comes to India, the rural India, there is a big challenge. As we mentioned in the beginning, at Telemedicine Society of India, we had proposed a public-private partnership for this, wherein a paramedic in each village, each of these 650,000 villages would be trained in the use of medical equipment, and they'll get a laptop, a smartphone, and these 12 pieces of medical equipment, which will include 12 channel ECG monitor and thermometer, glucometer, blood pressure monitor, etc. So he'll be also equipped with some of the basic medicines. He'll have a toll-free number, and anybody falling sick in the village will dial his toll-free number and establish a link with the call center in the city. The doctor will see the patient and ask the paramedic to conduct tests if necessary. The results of the test will be displayed on the screen of the doctor. And if necessary, the doctor can talk to the specialist also and take specialists on the line. Specialists can see the patient. And if they are not able to treat him online, they can know the location of the paramedic and they can send ambulance from the nearest hospital, and his treatment under Ayushman Bharat can start after that. So the villager does not have to struggle for treatment. And here I'm happy to announce that we have this OTT ET, that's an organization, Orissa. The gentleman, Shri K.N. Bhagat, contacted me. He'll also talk something more about it because he has implemented this project in Orissa. So here, just briefly, I want to play a small video clip.
All of you, join into one, not just celebrate, because he's based in Bhubaneswar. He's built something that we've not seen ever before, but also how can we support, how can we contribute? And because somewhere I think that a solution like this, if it was done anywhere in the world, everyone would be talking about it. He's been doing it all alone and brought it to us. How can we support? But before you believe me, just let's get him to, let's just see what his device can do.
Hi, thank you everyone. Thank you, sir, and your story. So now we are going to test the health parameters for Swasthya. So can you place your finger here? Yeah. So the device started collecting the data.
This is what the paramedic can do at the other end.
So test is done. For her, hemoglobin is 12.4, oxygen saturation is 98, bilirubin is 0.82, creatinine is 0.73, and random glucose is 120. So all these tests done within less than 10 seconds.
Wow.
And you are healthy.
Thank you so much.
Now we can transfer this report to you to your WhatsApp.
So this was one video clip. I have to stop in between because, the time is short. So you can see the clip at leisure. Now, the second part is that in our scheme of things, we also have to promote other technologies, other forms of medicine like Ayurveda. And here you see another app, which is called Nadi Tarangini, because if those people who are familiar with Ayurveda know that the biggest challenge nowadays is people have lost the art of seeing the Nadi, which is a main sort of input for, taking measurements. Now here, this Nadi Tarangini actually distributes the pulse into three components of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So you can judge what particular problem the patient is suffering from and take it further from there. So it's based on the Tridosha, the Vata, Kapha, and Pitta, and Nadi Tarangini. It's an Indian app. You can download it on your phone also. Now in homeopathy, the patient-doctor interaction is based. It can be done comfortably on the video conference because generally homeopathy involves more of interaction between the doctor and the patient, and doctor can make use of the software for his convenience, and the remedy kit can be with the same paramedic in the village. This is the other solution. Now, I have talked about what can be done in the immediate thing. So far as the pandemic is concerned, we listen to the experts, but I thought for the sake of completion, I'll mention that there are a lot of technologies which are involved in the health domain, like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, e-network platform, extended platform, the blockchain, big data analytics. We have digital twins, drones, 3D printing, robotics, tele-ICU, stem cell technologies. So there are a lot of things which happen, and post-trauma stress, Parkinson's disease, patient form management, rehabilitation of people with injuries, special surgeries, capacity building, all can happen with all these technologies. These are being used internationally right now. Similarly, there are healthcare trainings and understanding anatomy, which also is being done. And here we have the healthcare training, which can be done on the same platform. One important thing I want to highlight here, that there was one deficiency in this whole thing when we conceived this idea at the Telemedicine Society of India, that, there was no provision for diabetic retinopathy, because that is a major device which can detect diseases like diabetes, hypertension, stroke, thyroid disorders, cancer, arthritis, and tumors, Alzheimer's, with the artificial intelligence. Now, this is being done now internationally, and a lot of progress has been made in this. So the whole kit can be complete after some time. There are a lot of physical challenges people are faced with, like visual challenge, neural disorders, hearing, autism, and stroke related and injury related, which also can be helped with different technologies. Now here, there's an app developed by Microsoft, which internationally is a known company. And they've developed this app specially for the blind people. Here, you can have a look at this video clip.
I'm Saqib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7. And shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where I was introduced to talking computers. And that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take it.
Sorry, because in the interest of time, I have to cut it short, but just to mention that there are a lot of things happening with the artificial intelligence, children with neurological disorders, people who have limited, you can say, movement with the eyes, can have these type of called eye of Horus. It's possible to children with dyslexia and also children with autism. Every type of problem has a solution with artificial intelligence. And people with stroke rehabilitation, quadriplegia, and other challenges, they can have wheelchairs. They can have a normal life otherwise. So robotics also are playing a big role in our lives when it comes to elderly care, special surgeries. With 5G coming, robotic surgeries are also possible through remote. So a lot of things are happening there. In Internet of Things, ingestible sensors, it's not necessary to take diabetic medicines every day. It can be as and when the body needs. So it is possible to do that. Please, my request to everyone, please stop, please mute your... Rachna ji, please.
तू और तेरी बेटी दोनों झूठी झूठी बोलते हो, दोनों को मैं रिपोर्ट हलाया था। हाँ मुझे माना है।
Sorry, I'll once again request everyone to mute so that we don't have these glitches in between. So 3D printing is very useful, and you know, we can have even the bones now. Instead of having plastic bones now, the ink bioparts can be printed. All these are possible now. And one of the things I wanted to highlight here was that our colleges and institutions are also not lacking behind. And one of the applications which I'm proud of is developed by a college in India. It's the ABAC Engineering College, which developed an app called Sherogen Bridge. It helps people like deaf and dumb people communicate with people with visual challenge, which is a big problem. It's not possible under normal conditions, but they have developed this bridge. Similarly, it's possible for people to be mobile without having to move, because if they have physical challenge, still they can be mobile, leveraging various technologies. And of course, now with 5G, it's possible to have autonomous cars also, but brain control interface cars are also possible. They are already there on the, being used, where ECG can be, EEG can control. And of course, there is another technology which I just wanted to mention, that, you know, every part of the body, it's possible to be developed with the help of stem cell technology. And that is going to be the final frontier. To conclude, emerging technologies play a big role, and telemedicine can play a crucial role in this whole, system. And of course, the objective being to mitigate the challenges faced by people in the health domain. And for a country like India with shortages of resources, there is no alternative but to leverage technology. A collaborative effort with the health specialists, technologists, and investors can prove to be a turning point in helping the millions of the people the world over. Now, just a few seconds more about how I developed an interest in this. We implemented a project called the Pan-African E-Network Project. And here, it was a project, brainchild of Dr. Kalam, where we linked 48 countries in Africa to India, Indian hospitals and educational institutions for health and education. So that's how it started. And that's where I met Dr. Professor S.K. Mishra. And he talked about you know, the rural India. He gave me a picture about rural India, and that is where my interest in the rural India also started. So he briefed me so well. I consider him as a guru, and my request as a first panelist is to him. The other panelist who would be there is His Holiness Yogacharya Om Prakash Ji Maharaj, Biswajit Mahapatra, who's the Dean Academics and the Senior Consultant Surgeon of India's first health motivator and author, Shri Gauri Shankar, Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta Ji, Dr. Sharda Verma, ex-Director CGHS, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and Shri Devadatta, former Chairman and CEO of Noida Authority. So we have a diverse panel of speakers. So I start with Dr. Mishra. Well, sir, you know, as I was mentioning, you introduced me to the challenge of rural India. And how do you see the progress towards telemedicine in the near future and digital health in particular in the long run? And what role do you envisage for the telemedicine in mitigating the challenges posed by the current pandemic?
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Waklu. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
So first of all, thank you for giving the opportunity to address your group and all the honorable dignitaries in this group, including the ex-Chief Justice of our Supreme Court India and many eminent personalities like diplomats and many learned academicians, engineers, and many of the senior officials of the government organizations who have superannuation is part of this group. So first of all, Mr. Waklu, I think you have just answered the question that you asked me actually. How do you think the telemedicine is going to go? I think if you ask 9 out of 10 people in this country now, in the COVID time, everybody will know what is telemedicine, I think. They will definitely know what is telemedicine. How many years ago, that is 2 decades ago, precisely, we all started in that area of telemedicine. All these years before COVID, let me tell you frankly, let me confess to all of you. We are also part of the group also. We try to educate, we try to motivate, we try to negotiate, we try to engage, whatever you say, with all the policy making authorities in this country. But we could not make a headway. Now, our effort has been kind of facilitated or it can be zoomed by COVID. So with all bad points about COVID, I must say for telemedicine, it is a really boom for us. That it made everybody realize, yes, we need telemedicine. Now the point number 2, I want to say, now telemedicine has gone beyond the technology. Let me tell you. Now each of us can practice telemedicine, including a farmer in a village. Ordinary laborer who just every day is going to the earning. Whoever has a mobile phone. And mobile phone may not be a smartphone. It can be also a feature phone, which permits us for audio interaction and also a SMS. And let me tell you, 90% of the telemedicine, so-called telemedicine during COVID times, let me tell you frankly, it is only the audio telemedicine. The classical telemedicine consists of transmission of images, etc., with video conferencing. It's not there, let me tell you frankly. The telemedicine that being now conducted during COVID times, the purpose is make the doctor get connected to the care seekers. Right? So now, many of these states have their own systems. Government of India also has made a system of the e-Sanjeevani software systems. Many corporate also overnight, they had to jump in telemedicine to survive themselves. All these things are based on simple audio interaction. The numbers are displayed, numbers are provided in the media, in the newspaper. This is the number of X hospital. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 numbers, infinite number of specialty-wise numbers, general OPDs, emergency OPDs, everything is numbers, telephone numbers. You just have to dial in and get your services. And if on the audio interaction you find something serious, then you are advised to go. Because in the COVID time, everything locked down, only emergency services have been entertained. So that is a great help. Just imagine somebody sitting in the middle of night, some problem occurs. if we can really talk to a doctor. There's nothing like that. Now, coming to the next point, after explaining it is device-less telemedicine, I don't consider a mobile phone as a device now because it's a daily utility. Now you must be getting some information on the internet, everything. It's called device-less remote monitoring. It's all because you don't consider a mobile phone as a device. Do you consider a software as a device, as a medical tool? Yesterday, no. Today, yes. Today, WHO says the software is also a health tool. There are debates going on that actually. So taking software that you used to call a software as a service called SaaS. So now this has become a tool, a diagnostic tool. Day in and day out you have a Fitbit or some devices in your band, and you have all the assessment. You just got a video shown by Mr. Waklu, which shows everything. Your hemoglobin, everything is there in the software. It's all interpreted by software. So today, why can't we say software as a diagnostic tool? Yes, we should. Now, the point that I want to drive is the second part of this thing. How do you think that telemedicine is going to go? Now, telemedicine needs a system approach now. Now you don't have to educate everybody. Honorable Prime Minister also has been talking of only telemedicine now whenever he gives any address to anybody. Practice telemedicine. Practice telemedicine to take care of the people who are at home. Because now majority of people with COVID infections are staying at home. They need to be monitored. If any of your relatives have been positive, I have my personal experience. I used to monitor my relative sitting here, when to go to hospital, when not to go to hospital. So that's a big assurance from my family. So that is the thing all of you must be doing. Not everybody has some information about COVID, and literate people like you all, you have almost 90% of information of COVID. Basic management, how to manage at home, when to ship to the hospital, basic needs, where to contact, and all these things. And of course, the medicines. So all these things can be helped, not by the doctors, but anybody has some knowledge about that. We'll be listening from other practitioners of the health, be it Ayurveda or homeopathic or other forms of Ayush. Everybody can practice telemedicine just using a mobile phone. What I mean to stress is, it's just an audio call, audio interaction. And of course, everything doesn't require a device to monitor all your tests. All of you know, when you go to a doctor, half of the tests ordered are useless. It's not required actually. So what is more important is our traditional medicine, the bedside medicine, is based on only talking to the patient, assessing the bedside, handling of a patient. Those things has to come back. Those things come back not in the form of physical interaction, but to the remote interaction. So why I'm saying why you should develop a system, because the health system needs a hybrid system or total virtual system. You just tell me a scenario. I've been diagnosed as a diabetic, diagnosed as a hypertensive. Why should I go repeatedly to the hospital to get my blood pressure and sugar getting monitored? This can be done very well by remotely with audio consultation and with all records shared with WhatsApp or whatever you want to do it. It's all possible. But that has to come into the system. Okay, you may say that this doesn't have any revenue model. We create a revenue model. Today, everybody is ready to pay money to get a service. But we have to develop a clarity. We have to develop a system which people believe, okay, I get benefit out of this system. Then they're ready to pay. So now this is the question on the system, that is the health service provider, the government, the corporate, everybody. How do I develop a system and tell people this is the way I can manage your 60% of the health problem which are of non-communicable disease nature? Cancer, diabetes, hypertension, kidney problem, mental issues, so many and so forth. All of you know about it. So my only appeal to all of you, wherever you are, try to influence the system makers, the health service providers, whoever it is, to adopt these technologies. Even if you know somebody who is doing private practice, influence him, develop a system to reach out to your patient. Don't call them to clinic all the time. To avoid nature, they can cut influenza. All things they are transmitted to the respiratory mechanism. So that you can congest. Our hospitals are congested. Our system is not going beyond the capacity to manage. Now, many of the things we can treat at home, and this is COVID has proven, we can treat COVID at home also. So that's all I wanted to say. If you have anything else you want to ask me specifically, I'm not going to those guidelines already. You have spoken about it. Government has facilitated those guidelines, not only in India, all over the thing. The so-called United States of America, who are very careful about the security and privacy, they have made the relaxation in their licensing practices. But what is more important is Indian system should know how to pay for services. Let's not think about everything can be for free. So if you have a system, make telemedicine as a marketplace. Let it be treated as a consumer product. Let people buy it. Let people realize there's a value for telemedicine. You see, telemedicine will jump and will run. And if we lose this opportunity post-COVID, we cannot never implement telemedicine far and wide. Our country deserves it. Thank you very much for kind listening.
Thank you, Mr. Saab. So nice of you. You have summed up everything. And we'll come back to you during the question answer session again, because I'm sure many people will have questions. Now, Dr. Mahapatra has to leave. So we'll start with Dr. Mahapatra. Actually, you know, despite being a well-established surgeon, your main emphasis has been on the wellness factor. You are India's first health motivator from the medical fraternity. You have written a book, wonderful book. I have read that, called Care for Your Health. Today, I would like you to understand from you how your concepts of health care can be leveraged on a platform like digital health, maybe in the form of an app as well. Yes, over to you, Dr. Mahapatra.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I think you can hear me now. My voice is clear.
Yes, voice is clear. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Mr. Bimalji, for giving me an opportunity to address this virtual gathering. I'm really honored. And by this time, you know, we are passing through one of the, you can say, one of the unprecedented time of our life, where everything looks very, very bad, you know. And by now, we all are convinced that it is beyond the capacity of the government or the medical industry or the doctors or the paramedical staff or anybody else to control such type of things which is happening, because we never thought this type of crisis we are going to face. Every day in a hospital, we are watching and we are really helpless. We doctors are also helpless, you know. But this all thing started, you know, a few years back when I was invited to a conclave to give a talk over healthcare services at your doorstep. You know, that started with that. And I was really preparing my talk for that. But when I had all my datas, I found that it was so disappointed that I was really very much disappointed, because, you know, it was not possible for me to deliver a talk by telling something which is not possible for next 50 to 100 years. So because of the increasing doctor-patient ratio, there is the skilled workforce is such a small, and the nursing, and you can talk of anything in the medical field in the country, it is so less. So what then I was thinking, I cannot give a talk on this, like how to take healthcare services at a doorstep. So what should we do? So because we are surgeons, you know, surgeons always look for a solution. So I was thinking, what is the thing which I can take to the people's door, so that I can make, because the whole aim, and you can say whole of the, when I is doctor, my whole aim is to keep you people healthy. First of all, maybe from disease, I will bring you back to health, or I'll keep you healthy forever. So then suddenly an idea stuck to me. I just reversed the word healthcare, and I found that it is care for health. Then suddenly I thought, care for your health. Can it be, can I take this thing to doorstep? And I had a eureka moment that time. I thought, yes, it is possible. It's very much possible that I can take the health care for your health services to a person's doorstep. Because of this digital world, we can always teach, we can always educate people on about health only. And that it started with that particular time in 2016. And when I started inviting people, and I started teaching them. Basically, I started teaching people about health. What we doctors, once upon a time, we think that it is our domain, and we never used to have time to explain people about the real thing. What is the physiology, what is the biochemistry, about the energy level, and how to live a healthy life. And all these things we are not teaching because we are treating diseases. You can see, as a doctor, I am not a healthcare professional. I always consider myself to be a disease care personnel. You know why? Because I am a master in treating diseases. But when it comes to health, because I had passed to that personally, I had passed to the stage in 2010 when I had a problem, when I wanted to improve my health, my knowledge was basically zero. From 2010 till date, I'm learning and I'm applying the things on myself and those things. And I found that I improved a lot and everything was good for me. So that was behind the scene. And when this idea came to me, I started reaching to people. Because that time telemedicine was not very much, you can say, on the scene. And I'm a part of Telemedicine Society of India since long. And then I thought now that I should teach people. I invited many people to seminars. I conducted seminars. And I found people were very happy. The people who learn about the things, I always say, learn about health to enjoy your wealth. That is one of the slogan. And I always say, apne swasth, apne haath, yahi hai sache vikas ki baat. Let us discuss health, no disease, please. Because, the moment we take the responsibility about health, and then everything will change. And exactly the things is happening. And COVID has made everything different. And I got a chance to go to people's house. And because of this digital, I will tell you, I'll show you some of my slide, how I'm reaching to people. I'm reaching all over the country. I'm giving them training. I'm teaching them my subject. I'm teaching them the biology. I'm teaching them the physiology, how to do exercise, how to eat food, how to everything. And it is changing people's life. And I have so much of testimonials with me that I think now I am fighting alone. I'm alone, but I know people are going to join me. I'm preparing life coaches all over the country who will be a big force to take care of people's health. I'm not talking about diseases. I'm nowhere concerned about diseases because in the hospital, I'm a doctor. But when I talk about when I'm in the stage, I am a health motivator. And I have coined the word health motivator because I motivate people to do the things. Because knowing and doing, there is a big difference. And in that point, there is a pause, there is a gap. And that gap can be filled by the choosing. So you have to make people choose health rather than going to a disease and come back from that. It's a difficult journey. I'll just share a few of my slides. Please allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, a little fast, Dr. Mahapatra.
Okay, only 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes slide. I will show you how I'm doing it. I'll show you. I'm not able to share my screen.
Yeah, just a moment.
So my whole aim is to teach people so that I am to empower people with the knowledge. Once the people apply the knowledge into their body, they will remain healthy forever. There is no way out that disease, because we create diseases and we have the power to revert back from diseases or keep ourselves healthy. No, I have not yet got the, allow me.
Yeah, there seems to be some problem. I agree.
No, I'm not getting the...
Yeah, I know.
Can you do it? Okay, let me do. So I have device, if you ready, tell me please. What I did,
I mean, you can just mention the slides.
No, it's not, I'm not able to do that. Okay, so what I did, I formulated a course, and that is for 3 days. I did a blueprint for living healthy and a 21-day course called DNF of living healthy. In that course, what I'm teaching people, this is because the whole thing has changed. The biology has changed. We never know the biology which people we have read is different now. Now the biology is telling that we have the control over our health. We can change the genetic coding in our body because we are controlled by the environment around us. And if we have the control over we can control over the environment, what will happen? Because the perception we get from the environment through our 5 senses, they go and they write and rewrite about our DNA. And that is the secret. The 2 most important things which has changed the total, which is going to change the medical scenario is, one is that epigenetic study. So I call myself, if you change your lifestyle, you have the right, you have the power to change your, wherever you are, whatever state of health you are today. And second thing is the microbiome, that is the study on the microbiome, that we are 10% human and 90%, you can say the microbes. The microbes is how we are, because of the lifestyle, how we are decreasing the microbiome population and we are getting the chronic diseases. So whatever I'm saying, that I'm talking to them, I'm talking about how you are generating the energy system in our body. I'm talking about the GI, that is how gut is our brain. See, all these things are possible because I am reaching to them digitally through my courses and through all over the country. Even in the month of August, I think 2021, I'll be going international with my courses all over the world. Because it is possible in the sense people are interested to learn. And one thing is sure, that science is telling today that we can change, we can reverse back diseases, we can keep ourselves healthy forever. So we cannot face so much of challenges. We cannot, because another corona, after corona, something else will come, something else will come. But if we teach people, we train ourselves to keep our body healthy, then nothing will happen to us. And this is a Herculean task. I know what I'm saying is very big, but they will come, that people will take care of themselves and they will keep themselves safe from anything. No viruses, no bacteria can invade if we keep ourselves healthy. But for that, you have to learn and learn. There is no other thing. You learn it, apply it on your body, and you will remain healthy forever. That is what I want to say through this platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahapatra. I'm sorry we couldn't ensure your presentation.
Okay, no problem. This is a small message because you gave me 5 minutes. So it's been really nice, and we'll be in touch. Thank you very much. And if you have time, I'm here. I'm with you.
Be there for the question answer session.
I'm with you.
Thank you. So, इसके बाद योगाचार्य ओम प्रकाश जी हमारे साथ हैं. उनसे मैं वो उम्मीद है वो हम सुन पा रहे हैं. भारत में स्वास्थ्य में योग का बड़ा योगदान रहा है. कुछ वर्षों में पुनः योग का उत्थान हो रहा है. विश्व भर में योग दिवस मनाया जाता है. आपके विचार से हमें स्वास्थ्य हेतु योग का प्रसार करने के लिए टेलीमेडिसिन या अन्य टेक्नोलॉजियों का प्रयोग कैसे कर सकते हैं? वे योग के प्रसार हेतु कितनी खरी उतरी जा सकती है ये टेक्नोलॉजी? योगाचार्य जी, क्या आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
जी
हाँ,
जी, आवाज आ रही? योगीराज
जी जी
आवाज आ रही है हमारी?
जी जी, अब आ रही है.
ओम मधु मनमे निकर्मणम मधु मनमे परायणम वाचा वदामि मधुमत भूयासम मधु संदृशः. ओम शांति शांति शांति. ओम. Good evening, everyone. Namaste to all the panelists and the participants of this webinar. All respectable panelists are the expert in their field of sectors. As we know, nowadays, entire world is suffering from pandemic COVID-19. Enter health department, government authorities, NGOs, private companies, and individuals are providing the best arrangement as per their capacities. In my opinion, telemedicine can be a most powerful weapon the fight with us pandemic. This is my personal advice to do. Pranayam, यम नियम आसन प्राणायाम प्रत्याहार धारणा ध्यान. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स. यहां मैं सभी जो भारत के विशेष यहां व्यक्तित्व पर्सनालिटीज जो यहां आज ये सुदूर चिकित्सा, जिस सुदूर चिकित्सा के लिए यहाँ एक ये वेबिनार का आयोजन किया गया है, मैं आप सभी को अभी जो महापात्रा डॉक्टर जी एक बहुत सुंदर बात कह रहे थे, यहाँ विराजमान वो एक बात कह रहे थे कि अपने हाथ अपना स्वास्थ्य। या मेरे सामने मुझे दिखाई दे रहे हैं डॉक्टर देवदत्त जी, देवदत्त शर्मा जी, जिन्होंने नोएडा अथॉरिटी में सीईओ रहते हुए, चेयरमैन रहते हुए अनेकों योग शिविरों का आयोजन किया और करवाया। आज मैं आप सभी से निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि ये जो टेलीमेडिसिन की जो बात आप कर रहे हैं, आज हम जिस बात को लेकर के ये एनजीओ तैयार किया है, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है। मैं इसके लिए आप सबको साधुवाद देता हूं, लेकिन एक बात कहना चाहता हूं, आप सभी ध्यान दें। 2500 वर्ष पूर्व चरक ऋषि ने एक बात कही थी, जो बात आज आप यहां इंग्लिश के माध्यम से लोगों को बता रहे हैं। टेलीमेडिसिन की बात आप कर रहे हैं। 2500 वर्ष पूर्व चरक ऋषि ने कहा था, क्या कहा था सुनिए, मेरी आवाज सुन रहे सभी?
जी जी।
सर्वेषां रोगाणां सुविचारो महाऔषधि। सर्वेषां रोगाणां सर्वेषां सुविचारो महाऔषधि। आज कितने रोगों की बात अभी मिश्रा जी, डॉक्टर मिश्रा जी ने कही, डॉक्टर महापात्रा जी ने कितने रोगों की चर्चा की। सो मेनी डिजीज, जीर्ण रोग हैं। और इस समय जो ये कि जो विशेष कोरोना रोग चल रहा है, जिससे पूरी दुनिया को त्रस्त कर दिया है, और उसी के लिए आप ये वेबिनार कर रहे हैं कि किस प्रकार से हमारी वार्ता के द्वारा, हमारे विचारों के द्वारा एक दूसरे तक हमारी बात जाए और उनको स्वस्थ कैसे किया जाए। तो चरक ऋषि ने 2500 वर्ष पहले कहा था, सर्वेषां रोगाणां सुविचारो महाऔषधि। सभी रोगों की एक दवा है सुविचार, क्योंकि सबसे पहले रोग हमारे यहाँ दिमाग से आते हैं, जिनको मानसिक रोग कहते हैं। और जब मन में कमजोरी आती है, आज तरह तरह की बात सुनते हैं कि वहां इतने कोविड से मर चुके हैं, मरने वाले हैं, इतने लोगों की आज हालत खराब है। टेलीविजन पे देखते हैं, समाचार पत्रों में पढ़ते हैं, तो उनका सबसे पहले, विमल जी, सबसे पहले उनके मन में कमजोरी आती है। और जब उनके मन में कमजोरी आती है तो उनके तन में कमजोरी आती है। मन एव मनुष्याणाम कारणम बंध मोक्षयो। मन ही बंधन का कारण है और मन ही मुक्ति का कारण है। इसलिए हमारे ऋषियों ने, योगियों ने हजारों वर्ष पहले ये कहा था कि सबसे पहले इस मन की चिकित्सा कर लो। आज उस मन की चिकित्सा के लिए और तन की चिकित्सा के लिए आप लोगों ने पब्लिक पुलिस एनजीओ बनाना पड़ा कि दूर सुदूर बैठ करके ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में रहने वाले लोगों की भी हम किस प्रकार से चिकित्सा कर सकें, उनको स्वस्थ कर सकें। इस बात को चरक ऋषि ने 2500 पहले कहा। समदोषः, अभी आप दिखा रहे थे, क्लिप दिखा रहे थे, नाड़ी की बात कर रहे थे आप। वात दोष, पित्त दोष, कफ दोष की बात आप कर रहे थे, इंग्लिश के शब्दों से आप बता रहे थे। अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही आप तरह तरह के इंस्ट्रूमेंट से और बॉडी के जो चेक होते हैं, हमारी बॉडी का चाहे डायबिटीज कैसे चेक होता है, हीमोग्लोबिन कैसे चेक होता है, उस तरह की प्रक्रियाओं को आप हमें दिखा रहे थे। लेकिन ऋषि सुश्रुत क्या कहते हैं, जरा सुनेंगे। जहां चरक ऋषि कहते हैं समस्त सुविचारों की समस्त सुविचारों के द्वारा समस्त रोगों को दूर करते हैं, इसलिए महाऔषधि सुविचार है। वहीं पर सुश्रुत ऋषि क्या कहते हैं, जरा सुनेंगे। सम दोष सम अग्निश्च सम धातु मल क्रिया प्रसन्न आत्म इंद्रिय मन स्वस्थ इति भी धीयते। तो जिनके मन से रोग शरीर में आते हैं और फिर उस शरीर को हम ठीक करने के लिए प्रयास करते हैं, तो सबसे पहले सम दोष है। हमारे आयुर्वेद के अनुसार उसकी पहले दोष चेक करते हैं, ये वात दोष से प्रभावित हैं, पित्त दोष से प्रभावित हैं या कफ दोष से प्रभावित हैं, सम दोष है। फिर उसकी पेट की अग्नि को देखते हैं, सम अग्निश्च, कि पेट में अग्नि तीव्र है या मंद है। अगर तीव्र है तो उसको मीडियम करना है, मंद है तो उसको मीडियम करना है, अर्थात पेट की अग्नि को ठीक करना है। सम दोष सम अग्निश्च सम धातु रस रक्त मांस मेद अस्थि मज्जा शुक्र और धातु। जब शरीर में ये सप्त धातु ठीक तरीके से बनते हैं, हमारे शरीर की जो जीवनी शक्ति, जिसको प्राण कहते हैं, जिसको प्राण कहते हैं, जिसको इम्यूनिटी के नाम से जानते हैं, प्राणिक शक्ति जिसके शरीर के अंदर जबरदस्त तरीके से रहती है, उसी के अंदर प्राणों की शक्ति के साथ इम्यूनिटी शक्ति भी प्रबल होती है। तो रस रक्त मांस मेद अस्थि मज्जा शुक्र धातु और वीर्य, उसकी समस्त धातुएं हैं, वो ठीक तरीके से बनती है। सम दोष सम अग्निश्च सम धातु मल क्रिया प्रसन्न आत्म इंद्रिय मन, और जिनका पांचों ज्ञान इंद्रिय, पांचों कर्म इंद्रिय और 11वां मन स्वस्थ रहता है, स्वस्थ इति भी धीयते, उस व्यक्ति को स्वस्थ कहते। तो ये करें कैसे, इसके लिए कहा है, आज व्यक्ति एंजाइटी, डिप्रेशन, फ्रस्ट्रेशन, फोबिया, डर सता रहा, कोरोना हो जाएगा, चारों ओर से डर आ रहा कि कोरोना हो जाएगा, उसको कोरोना होगा तो मुझे भी कोरोना हो जाएगा। उसके मन में डर बैठ गया है, और मन में डर बैठते ही उसकी अंदर की जो विल पावर जिसको कहते हैं, प्राणिक शक्ति जिसको कहते हैं, रोग प्रतिरोधक क्षमता जिसको कहते हैं, वो धीरे धीरे कमजोर होना शुरू हो जाती है। उस व्यक्ति का शरीर के अंदर शारीरिक शक्ति, मानसिक शक्ति, आत्मिक शक्ति जो प्रबल थी, वो धीरे धीरे कम होती चली जाती है बंधुओं। ह्यूमैनिटी सिस्टम उसका कमजोर पड़ता हुआ चला जाता है, और वो व्यक्ति डरा हुआ सा रहता है, और उस व्यक्ति के अंदर भय आता है, और वो धीरे से मन से रोगी होता है, और फिर वो तन से रोगी हो जाता है। इसलिए हमारे ऋषि ने कहा, इसलिए हमारे ऋषि ने,
ये एक है कि आपका ये बहुत सुंदर शब्द कहे आपने। मतलब मुझे तो लगता है कि हम एक और वेबिनार हमको करना चाहिए जिसमें केवल आप इस पे पूरा
जी वो आपके,
क्योंकि हम आपके इस विचारों का ये पूरी तरह से मतलब जस्टिस नहीं देख कर पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि बहुत अच्छे विचार हैं आपके, मतलब जो हम अपने जीवन में ला सकते हैं। तो
ये बिल्कुल ठीक बात करें। मैं अपनी वाणी को अभी छोटा सा करते चल रहा हूँ। आप लोगों को मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ जो इस प्रकार का टेलीमेडिसिन के माध्यम से और पुलिस, पब्लिक पुलिस का जो ये एनजीओ आपने बनाया है, और उसके माध्यम से पूरे देश और दुनिया के लोगों को आप स्वस्थ करना चाहते हैं, देखना चाहते हैं, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई। मैं एक बात कहता हूं, इस जग का उपकार यही है, इस जग का उपकार यही है, बन जाए इंसान किसी दिन, इस जीवन का सार यही है, मिल जाए भगवान किसी दिन। प्रभु नाम तो हिये में धर लो, इस तन से कुछ नेकी कर लो जो कर रहे हो आप। प्रभु नाम तो हिये में धर लो, इस तन से कुछ नेकी कर लो, कब उड़ जाए श्वास का पंछी, उड़ रहे हैं ना, कितने चले गए, कब उड़ जाए श्वास का पंछी, बन जाए शमशान किसी दिन। इसलिए आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। इस आहार विचार सुविचार के माध्यम से हम स्वस्थ रह सकते हैं। स्वास्थ्य हमारे हाथ में है। इसलिए योग की एक बड़ी प्रक्रिया है, आयुर्वेद की एक बड़ी प्रक्रिया है, उसके द्वारा हम स्वस्थ हो सकते हैं। मैं इसी के साथ अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं और विशेषकर श्रीमान श्री देवदत्त शर्मा जी और आप सबको साधुवाद, बहुत बहुत बधाई, शुभकामना, मंगल कामना।
धन्यवाद योगाचार्य साहब। एक्चुअली हम आपसे विनती करते हैं कि अगली बार हम जो रखेंगे उसमें आपको और बोलने का समय देके हम लाभान्वित होंगे। बहुत आपने मन ही नहीं कर रहा था कि इसमें कोई रोकें, लेकिन समय की कॉन्स्टेंट के कारण हमको करना पड़ रहा है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मिस्टर नायक, इज इट पॉसिबल टू म्यूट योरसेल्फ प्लीज? Now, you know, we have Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta. He's the former ambassador. Of course, you know, India is supposed to have a robust Ayurvedic system, which is a holistic health system. Before colonization happened over here, there is a lot of emphasis on Ahar Vihar. And of course, part of it has been also covered by Yogacharya ji. Do you think telemedicine would help in reviving Ayurvedic concept of health? Ambassador Gupta. Hi.
Honorable Justice Balakrishnan Sahab, Vimal ji, convener of the conference, distinguished members of the panel, Swamiji and the participants. It's a great honor for me to be here this afternoon to share a few thoughts based on my personal experience. First of all, I would like to mention that health is not a quick fix. It's a continuous and holistic process, which has been explained by Swamiji in detail. Secondly, the human body is the most complex machine ever seen in this universe. And with all kinds of instruments which are on display, even despite those instruments, we cannot understand this machine. This is beyond all the artificial intelligence and beyond all the robotics, beyond all the doctors. Even an eye doctor cannot understand how the eye works completely. So this is a very complex machine. Thirdly, there are a lot of misunderstanding about Ayurveda. Yes. This is called today as alternative medicine. In fact, this is the system which has served the humanity for over 3,500 years. Swamiji was talking about Susruta and Charak. This system, I can tell you from my childhood, when I was a child in my village, there was no doctor, there was no hospital. We all lived by Vaidya and a Pansari. And that was the holistic system. People lived a very healthy life. If you recall India 100 years ago, practically in most villages, there was no doctor and no hospital. And we had this ancient system, which was actually incorporated in our food and helped everybody to be healthy. So I would like to state a few things. First of all, that Ayurveda is a science which is very, very deep science. It has analyzed the properties of all kinds of herbs and plants, thousands of them, and not only plants, their roots, their bark, their fruit, their leaves, their flower, all those properties have been analyzed, which runs into millions. And they have made combination of those properties to cure the human ailment or to strengthen the immunity system. Now, we are all the time attacked by viruses and germs from outside. There are thousands of them attacking every single moment of our life. If our system is robust, if our immunity is perfect, all these go away and we remain healthy. So I think that we have to work for health rather than health care. In that sense, I would only give 5 points which I would like to mention. Firstly, please eat food, because food becomes your body. Food converts into the 7 dhatus which Swamiji mentioned just now. So eat food which is fresh, which is seasonal. Eat it moderation, no excessive eating, and you should be careful about the cooking of the food. It should be properly cooked, neither too much nor too little. So that is the first element we should observe. Everybody can do it at home without anybody's help. We have all ancient recipes which are actually put in our gastronomical science. For example, you use methi, or you use amla, or you use adrak, or you use haldi. All those things are are part of our food component. We don't have to go anywhere else. The second thing is that exercise. Human body is designed that we must do some exercise. It can be in the form of asana. It can be in the form of walking, or gym, or any other exercise which you like. But at least 15 minutes to half an hour every day, everybody must exercise. That is a pre-requirement of good health. Thirdly, the sun is designed to govern this life here. The sun cycle, with the sun cycle we get up, with the sunset after a while we sleep. And in the night, the energy goes inside the body and it actually repairs all the damage which has been done in the daytime. It also cleans the body, the mala is taken out, the waste is taken out. So in the night time, we have to take proper rest. So a good sleep in the night is extremely important for good health. So best sleeping time is 10 to 4 in the morning. That's the best time. I think that is what we should do. This is the third thing. Following the sleep cycle, following what we call the sun cycle and the sleep cycle. That is extremely important for us. The entire body runs on the basis of sun energy. The pranic energy inside the body comes from the sun. The 5 pranas which run the body, they come from the sun. And in fact, the body temperature is regulated by the sun. Temperature of all the organs inside the body is regulated by sun. So we cannot defy the nature. We should follow the sun cycle. The fourth thing is that we should keep things clean. We should keep our body clean. We should keep our mind clean. And we should keep our surroundings clean. And I think the cleanliness we have lost over time. This was one of the fundamental principles of Indian philosophy and Indian way of life. Now, gradually, we find a lot of dirt all around, and that has become a cause of a lot of germs and, illnesses. The last point I want to mention is that please observe your body carefully. Body gives enough signal before you become sick. If you are observing the body carefully, you can control the sickness in time, and then you will not have a problem. I am now 65 years of age. I have not used, any of medications from the hospitals or any allopathic system. I still do my Ayurvedic system. I do my yoga. I regulate my food, and I live a healthy life accordingly. Now, before I conclude, I want to just say one more point. Recently, a study was conducted in the United States, and the study concluded that 2/3, that is 67% of the ailments we have today, they originate from the side effects of the medication we have taken in the past. And therefore, these allopathic medicine have tremendous side effects. They are the chemicals which cannot be digested and assimilated in our body. The food can be assimilated, but not chemicals. And therefore, they leave a trace and they cause side effects and they create new ailments into the body. So one has to be very careful taking those medications, take them in very moderation, and too many, strong medications actually weaken your immunity system. So I think this is what I wanted to mention. We have to follow a new lifestyle, which is based on, good and fresh food. seasonal fruits, seasonal food, good exercise, following the sun cycle, a good, what you call exercise in the day, and observing your body properly. If we follow these, principles in life, I think we can maintain a very healthy lifestyle. And with these words, I thank the organizers profoundly, and I wish all the participants a very healthy and happy life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Gupta. It's been a wonderful presentation. The 5 points you mentioned are very important, and we should try to emulate them. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll take your leave now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. If you can spare another 10 minutes, maybe there could be some question answers after the other presenters. Otherwise, if you are in a hurry, no problem, sir. Thank you very much. Now, we also have here with us Mr. K.N. Bhagat, who's from Orissa. And he was one of the pioneers in telemedicine in the rural areas. Of course, when he came to know that we are going for this particular webinar, he said, I also want to speak for a few minutes. So my request to Mr. Bhagat to briefly give his presentation. Here on the screen, you can see that he has a lot of achievements to his credit, and he was given a lot of awards for his contribution to the telemedicine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I must congratulate the organizers for having such an webinar at this need of the hour, where telemedicine has a greater role to play for the betterment of the mankind. And only telemedicine which can bring the total globalization of Medicare, decommercialization of Medicare, humanization of Medicare, spiritualization of Medicare. Before this, the panelists, I start from Dr. Mishra. I am grateful and thankful to SDPGI, the National Resource Center, and particularly Dr. Mishra, who was associated from the very beginning from its inception. This program was started, OTED telemedicine program was started in the year 2009. I'll just put a video, small video.
Actually, sorry, Bhagat Sahab, actually there seems to be some problem in sharing the screen. I'm trying, but you can continue with your...
Right. So this program was done with the grace of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba and the former Chief Justice of India, Justice P.N. Bhagavati, who was the chairman of this advisory board of this OTED. Dr. Kalam, who was very much kind enough to be associated with this during his visit to Orissa every month. So ultimately, SDPGI Lucknow and Dr. Mishra was the architect selected by Government of Odisha to take up this project so that we can go and provide telemedicine access to cover the 51,000 villages of the state. So everything now, the other speaker have said good, that alternative medicine also are essential. So OTED initiated the program with telemedicine called allopathy and alternative medicine, which can be delivered at the doorstep of the villages. And now it is on. So the implementation part, the program which was designed now, time is short. This may require more than 2-3 hours for deliberation. So in short, what I would like to say, now technology we have heard from Dr. Mishra. So all those things already integrated, and we are very soon going to start in Odisha, in particularly, that the telemedicine available at the like TSOP. First speech in 2015 August. They mentioned about the telemedicine program and its utility. Now also again, but now the point is technology and other things with us. How to implement it is more important, and it needs unity and purity, both. And government alone cannot do it. This was the concept what Bhagavan Satsai Baba said.
Sorry, once again, I request people to mute their mic. Please.
Without
because it's interfering.
Mr. Kunal.
Kunal, I have yeah.
Sorry.
Please continue, Mr. Bhagat.
So now actually, we know every one of us are well aware, well conversant, all the panelists, about the government system. It is next to impossible to cover the whole country within a span of 5 years. But we have got a very ambitious plan to do it by 2025. And we have already taken up the matter with the Prime Minister. We are waiting for this. And this is an opportunity what God has given us today. So I want, it is as I told, that it needs unity and to do it. And we have people like Dr. Mishra and other panelists, those who have from other disciplines like Ayurveda, yoga and everything. It should be integrated. It is a model of resource convergence. It can be done as a need-based and with involvement of the local people in the sense of the villages. The village people also, and that is how the program has been designed in association with SDPGI-MS Lucknow under the leadership of Dr. Mishra. So who is well conversant with this. So my request will be that this webinar is an eye-opener for every one of us, and we should combinedly make all the efforts and to see that if we can do it unitedly, and if it is possible, and I am sure by grace of Bhagavan, anything and everything is possible. So for last 12 years, I am working on this without taking a single penny from any government, which is best known to. So we should have another webinar on this. And before that, I will also share all the documents and how to proceed. And if it is possible, that jointly both the Public Police Trust can take it forward so that we can make a success, because this not only pay for the USC. Universal health cannot be done within the 72 years either by WHO by this. In this connection, I had a discussion, long discussion with DG WHO also. So accepted by them. This has been taken as a model for the world. So this telemedicine, so this needs a total unity.
Yeah, thank you, Bhagat Saab. It's a wonderful idea to have a collaboration between public police, which has a big reach, and your organization. I think we'll work on this, and we'll have another webinar where we'll take up this further. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for being a part of this.
Well,
Dr. Sharda Verma, CGHS has been promoting Ayush for quite some time. I have had a good experience personally in Mumbai where allopathic doctors have been referring patients to Ayurveda and Unani for treatments like jaundice, etc. What is your opinion? Do you think the current CGHS organization can play a similar role coupled with telemedicine for mitigating the challenges we have faced on account of the pandemic? Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Thank you.
Respected Chairman, sir, and our panelists. Sir, it is a real thank you very much. You have given me the opportunity to speak from the Government of India side. We are really working on all the three fields. First of all is our allopathic, then is our Ayurvedic, Ayush system, and then is our homeopathy also. We are encouraging all the three, and this is a time of a pandemic when we are in a really big problem, where first of all, it is a COVID, which is giving us all problems relating to the system. But this telemedicine and teleconsultation has given a big boom to all this. At least patients can be taken care of. First of all, the family physician used to be there in our old time, but now nobody reaches to them. Everybody is telephoning. And then this is that they cannot go out. It is have to call a doctor. And so the panel of a CGHS system is really that it is all over India. And that is why we are getting calls from everywhere. And all the doctors, first of all, it was a training given to them previously that first listen to the problem. That is what is a big thing all the doctors are doing, all the staff is doing. As you rightly said, this is that Ayush system working for the diseases. Allopathic, homeopathic, and Ayush, all three are giving a big boom to the system of a recovery to these people. Then coming to the COVID, which is really a present scenario with us. All the doctors are given the list of the medicine, they should go for them. Or we are telling the people not to take medicine from by your own experiences or by your friends' experiences. Talk to the doctor. They are available 24 hours. We have got a dispensaries which are working 24 hours for the people, for the patients, for the test. Even if your symptoms are there, which are saying that this is a COVID, go for the symptoms according, and the doctors are treating them. Yes, RT-PCR is necessary, antibody test is necessary. That's also, so that tells us how we can go further in the treatment plan. So the CGHS systems of Government of India is giving not only in centers, even in the remote areas where we have our centers. So they are also catering these services to them. First of all, I like to hear, because you have got a big panel to listen. A big, your public policy NGO is there, which we can propagate. These are the things what the patient should do. Every doctors are doing, all the doctors are, working for that. The patient, as our Govindacharji also said, ambassadors have emphasized that what those 5 points are. I just want people should be relaxed. They should be told to relax and tell their symptoms in a whatever way they can present. They can tell easily. All the doctors are, our medical team is working on that to listen carefully. Take time. Or if you're just talking on your phone, make a list of things what you are suffering for. Tell the doctors, and doctors are there. First of all, I want to say that they should relax. People should not be mentally stressed. Yes, this is a problem, big problem we are facing. Everybody is facing. You're also given a webinar for that. I'm really very kind to your NGO. So this is what is, first relax. Mentally, no mental stress, no worries. If there will be no worries, then if the patient is there in the house or in the hospital, even the doctors are working, singing for them, making them little mood elevation. This is what is very necessary in all kinds of patients, especially with the COVID, where negativity sets in as soon as you hear that you're suffering from the disease. Then I must say that meal, Meal is very good. Gauri Shankar ji has said in a right way. Meal is really good. Govind Chand ji ne bhi kaha ki this, whatever we eat, it goes to our body. So meal is best, you know, in a protein diet, it should be encouraged. Seek the thing. And then after that, medicine you have to take, like we are giving teleconsultation, take the medicine as prescribed by your doctor. Do not choose by your own pocket or by your own bag or by your own friend circle. Do not, you know, believe in that. Yes, you can follow like kara aap le rahe ho, garam chai le rahe ho, that you can follow, steam le rahe ho, but with a medication, be it with a doctor, be it with any system of it. That is, my request is for everybody, be it with a doctor's consultation. And as and when they advise, you can change your medicine. If you feel like, you can go back to your doctor, the CGHS or your family physician, whatever you have faith in any system of that. And then not least, this rest. People are not taking rest. They're talking with the friend circle, getting the negative images. It's the best to take little rest, little exercise. If they are in the room, they should walk in the room. And even people are telephoning, our oxygen is 98. Sitting, it is 98. Have a 5 minutes or 6 minutes, walk in the room, and then take your oxygen. These small tips, sir, it really means a lot to the patients. And that is why we can get, you know, then they can tell, okay, this is what happened. My fever has gone down after 2 days of medicine. Doctors feel very nice. And it is a real thing that we are getting patients call symptoms by symptoms, day by day. This is today, tomorrow is that. Yesterday was like this, today is like that. So we are also getting the little, you know, we also get the energy when our patients are healthy, when the patients recovers. This is what is the real index. And last, they should take rest and sleep. People are not getting proper sleep. Young generation is working on computers and phones late night. So my request is all your things, you know, whenever the message can go, it should be work and sleep. That's really there, that you can work a little bit, but sleep also is there. Engage yourself in activities. Sir has rightly said in my previous talks that you engage yourself in the right type of activity. And sir, agar COVID ye nikal jayega, to baki sari bimariyan bhi we can take care of in slowly. That's what.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharda. It's been really wonderful. You have summed it up very well. I mean, how exactly we should tackle not only COVID, but other challenges as well. Really wise words. And I am getting motivated to have another webinar where we'll give more time to people. Thank you very much for your time. Now, you know, after having listened to people in the health domain, you know, we would like to listen to Shri Devdutt ji, who is a retired IS officer and of course part of the Public Police NGO. You know, actually India got its independence 74 years back. Still, we have yet to, we have to request other countries for supply of oxygen and ventilators during this phase of pandemic. As a former IS officer, what measures do you think can be taken to correct the situation in the country? And what role do you feel that telemedicine and digital health can play in optimizing on the health resources in the country? Devdutt ji.
He has to unmute himself.
Please unmute yourself.
Devdutt ji, unmute yourself.
Devdutt ji, can you hear us? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Now,
please. Now,
can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Honorable Chairman, sir, and all eminent panelists of this evening, especially Dr. Prakash Maharaj and other doctors from all over the country. We are passing through an unprecedented time of our life after independence. We never thought of such great crisis. COVID has changed our lifestyle and our thinking also. Nature has taught us a lesson that we have to be near the nature. After so much development in the country, we are really going away from our nature, and we are forgetting our old times when our ancestors used to adopt yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, and other things. There is no way to reach in rural areas population because our medical system is not sufficient as per the need of our 140 crore population. So we have to think some devices, and you have very rightly, you have done a wonderful presentation. I must make compliments to Mr. Waklu for giving us wonderful presentation, and especially artificial intelligence is going to change our total lifestyle all over the globe. And this is the right time to switch over to the latest communication skill. One doctor has rightly said that care for health, I would go one step ahead, that we need health motivators. We have to stress on community medicine because prevention is better than cure. So we have to stress on our society that we must lead such lifestyle which does not invite any disease of any type. We have won over polio, tuberculosis, and plague in the past. And we have fought it very well. And we have eradicated all these diseases from our country. So healthcare services has to be integrated with the latest development of telemedicine type. And मैंने एक बात कहना था कि जैसा खाए अन्न वैसा रहे मन. So we have to give more emphasis on our eating habits, our lifestyle. If you eat rotten foods, naturally you are going to invite diseases. Then I would like to say that this telemedicine started in 1950 from US. And initially it was transmit of radiological images over the phone. And then gradually we have come to this level, what you have shown in your presentation. The proliferation of smart devices capable of high quality video transmission opened up the possibility of delivering the remote health center to patients to their home and workplaces. And nowadays, since our nation and entire universe is passing through COVID, so all the patients, all the people who are quarantined at their houses, they need the most, because what we are seeing on television, what we are seeing on this social media is making us very, very distressed. And all news, like so many deaths, so many diseases, so many patients are coming every day. So it makes us feel, and we have a fear in our mind. तो मेरा तो एक ही कहना होगा कि अपने मन से डर हटा दीजिए कि आप अपना स्वस्थ हैं और आप खुद, आपकी परिवार, आपके आसपास के लोग सब स्वस्थ रहें. ऐसा एक वातावरण बना लें और जितनी भी नेगेटिव न्यूज़ हैं उनको हम नेग्लेक्ट करें, उनको हम अपने इस मेंटल स्टेट में लाने ही ना दें. और जैसे हमारे आदरणीय ओम प्रकाश जी महाराज ने जो 2500 वर्ष पहले चरक जी के बारे में जो बताया है, तो मेरा अनुरोध होगा, आइए हम सब मिलकर एक ऐसा मैसेज दें पूरे संसार को, पूरी ह्यूमैनिटी को, कि हम अगर चाहते हैं कि इस जैसी महामारी से बचना, तो हमें प्रिवेंशन पहले करना होगा, अपने लाइफस्टाइल को चेंज करना होगा, कम्युनिटी मेडिसिन के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा देना होगा। और अभी हमारे टू द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ टेलीमेडिसिन, हाउ इट हैज प्लेड बिग रोल फॉर पेशेंट्स इन होम आइसोलेशन and asserted that it may be expanded to rural areas। तो मेरा बाकलू साहब सिर्फ यही कहना है कि आज आवश्यकता इस बात की है कि हमारी रूरल एरियाज में, चूंकि मैं बहुत क्लोजली मैं रूरल एरियाज को बिलोंग करता हूं, मैंने एज कलेक्टर एज कमिश्नर मैंने रूरल एरियाज की जो स्थिति देखी है, वहां पर हैजा हो जाता है, उल्टी दस्त हो जाती है लोगों को, कई जगह कोई मेडिसिन नहीं मिलता, केवल उनको चीनी और नमक का घोल ही पिलाकर उनको स्वस्थ करते हैं। तो हमारी जो मसाले हैं, अभी जैसे मैडम कह रही थी काढ़े के बारे में, तो हमारी जो ट्रेडिशनल चीजें हैं उसको हम भूल गए हैं। हमारे पास इतना नेचर ने दिया है, नीम है हमारे पास, अर्जुन है हमारे पास, ये गिलोय है, गिलोय इज वन, ये तो बिल्कुल अमृत है एकदम। तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि आइए हम सब लोग मिलकर एक ऐसा वातावरण बनाएं कि जो नेचुरल चीजें हैं उसके हम करीब जाएं और उसका सेवन करें। इन शब्दों के साथ मैं आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा बाकलो साहब, आपका भूर्भुव प्रशंसा करता हूं कि आपने जितना ज्ञान आज दिया है तो आपने गागर में सागर भर दिया। मेरे पास आपके लिए कोई शब्द नहीं।
धन्यवाद।
आप इसको अंडर द एबल गाइडेंस ऑफ ऑनरेबल चेयरमैन सर, हम लोग आपके साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर पब्लिक की सेवा करने के लिए हमेशा तैयार रहेंगे।
धन्यवाद। धन्यवाद साहब, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Our sort of panelists have spoken. Now, of course, we have overshot the time, but still, if there are any questions from the audience, it'll be a pleasure to address them.
Baklu Saab, sorry to disturb you.
जी.
Major Goel wants to say for 10 seconds.
Okay. Please, Goel Saab, boliye.
Vimal ji, thank you for allowing me. It was an excellent webinar, and really we learned a lot. I just want to thank Mr. Bhagat. When I spoke to him for inviting as a panelist in this for this webinar, he informed me that he has lost his brother and he's in puja. But today also he had a puja in his house for that. Last week he lost his brother. So I would like to thank him personally and on behalf of all of us from Public Police side for joining this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Sushil ji, for highlighting this very important thing, which probably I missed on. Thank you very much.
Mr. Baklu, I would like to say a few words that let us make some concrete suggestions to the government and to the society so that we can serve the masses through our social media and through the government.
So that was precisely the objective of this webinar also. Given our reach, given our people who are
it is a good idea, sir.
One form or the other, we'll definitely work on this. Hello? Yeah. So if there are no questions, then I would like to thank all the participants who took their time off to be a part of this webinar and make it interactive and lively. Those who have missed this webinar due to their other commitments today can watch it on the YouTube channel of Public Police NGO. We'll look forward to being with you next month, early next month, with another topic or maybe expansion of the same subject. I would like to thank organizers, including our coordinator for the webinar, Mr. R.K. Maheshwari, for initiating this webinar series. Now, I would like to request Sri Maheshwari to give his closing remarks. Thank you.
Our respected Chairman, Justice Balakrishnan ji, our Member Secretary, Sri Devdutt ji, Baklu Saab, and other respected members. and panelists. This is a really very good webinar, and we should continue this series of webinars to help to the people. Our public police NGO is really stand with this cause and health regions to the rural and urban areas. It might be a big work for the public police. I'm really thankful that my little efforts has become big due to Mr. Baklu and other members who joined us. Thanks a lot. Please, Baklu, sir.
Thank you, everybody. I would like to apologize to all people. I had to maybe intervene to keep this within time limit. Of course, still we have exceeded the time, but we look forward to another webinar, maybe on the same subject, where we can discuss further nuances of the same.
Yes.
Because I was quite inspired by some of the presentations like Yogacharya ji mentioned. I think we need to listen more about that as well. So we'll go on the different subjects by rotation. Thank you very much. So with that, we'll close this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So nice.